Welcome back to my workshop and welcome back to my garage. This is going to be video number 6 in my Pango Music Flying V kit that we've been doing. In this video we're going to be going through final assembly. This is a sponsored video by Pango Music. They did send me the kit to do, so thank you very much for that. If you're interested in buying a kit, there's a link down in the description below that will take you to the Pango website where you can buy the kit. It does apply a discount when you click on the affiliate link, so you get a little bit of a discount when you buy the kit through there. It also sends a little bit of money back to me to help me finance the channel and continue to bring you more and interesting content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get rolling on the final assembly on this guitar to see what it looks like. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and install the ferrules on the back for the string through, and I'm going to go ahead and install the tuners. So let's go ahead and pan down and I'll show you what I'm doing. So the first thing I want to do is clear out these, make sure these holes are clean. There's some finished buildup in there, so I'm just taking a 6mm drill bit because that's what the ferrule size is, and I'm just gently running them down through there. Now I started it off going backwards to break into the finish. That way I'd take less chance of chipping the finish. And then once I'd started and went down in, then I went ahead and went clockwise. And as you can see, I'm just doing this by hand because I don't want to round out the holes or anything. I just want to remove that finish that's there. All right, so I've got my ferrule holes cleaned out, and I'm just going to gently tap them in. Need a tool for this. There we go. Just use this as a guide. Get them started, and then I'll finish them all on. So let's go ahead and get the tuners on. As you'll remember, I already drilled the holes and everything for the tuners, so I know how they're going to line up, so I can install them in the right position. So what I've got is I've got them separated out. That's a 10mm nut on those. Right now I'm just going to snug these down. I'm not tightening them all the way until I get the set screw in to keep it from pivoting. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining up the hole on the back as I push the tuner in, kind of keeping it that straight, and then I'm with the nut on the front, I'm running it all the way down, and then I'm backing it off a little bit. That way the tuner isn't locked in. If I need to spin it or move it or anything, there's not any real force on it, so I'm going to take less chance of scratching my finish. So if you remember, when we did this initially, I did put some wax on the screws to help them thread in. I'm going to do the same thing now. Put a little bit of wax on them to help them thread into the holes. And I'm not running these down super tight because they're not really holding the tuner in. They're holding it from spinning and coming off the center. So I'm just snugging it. You do want to be careful because you don't want to break one of these small screws off in the hole because it is a pain to get out. And they do break easier than what you'd think they do. But putting that little bit of wax on them really helps them go in the hole. Then of course, once these are snugged down, then you can snug down the nut on the front of the tuner. And there we have it, tuners installed. So the next thing I want to install is I want to go ahead and get our cover plate installed on the front for our strings. A little bit of wax on each of the screws. I don't want to move this plate I want to move this plate as little as possible because it will scratch the finish. So what I'm doing is I'm just gently starting each of the screws, and then that's going to help center it. You definitely want to be using the right size screwdriver here because you don't want it slipping out of the head of the screw because it will hit the finish and it will damage the finish. All right, so I want to go ahead and get the bridge studs mounted in, but what I want to do first is make sure I install my ground wire. So what I've done is I've just taken a short piece of wire, stripped the insulation off the end, and kind of flayed the strands out a little bit. And then I'm going to stick this in the hole, and I've already taken a drill bit and ran down in the holes to clear the finish out there. So what I want is that hole right there, and then I just need to take and bend that wire over, and as I push this bridge pin in, it's going to crimp that wire and allow me to ground my bridge. There we go, bridge studs are in. Now I want to go ahead and get my pickups mounted because the pick guard goes around them. So I want to go ahead and get my pickups put in. That way I can leave the wires out to do the configuration of the pick guard and get it all soldered up. Got my neck pickup first. And this is where having all your holes pre-drilled really pays dividends because you don't have to worry about lining everything up. You don't have to worry about chipping your paint. It's all good to go. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of wax on the screws. help guide them into those holes. You do want to make sure you orient your pickups right. Of course, I've got the neck pickup in with the screws pointing to the neck. And let's go ahead and get the bridge pickup put in. And when you're putting in the bridge pickup, the pole pieces go closer to the bridge. Wax on the screws. And there we have it. Pickups are installed. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get our pick guard put together. Get the switches and everything put in. So what we've got is we've got the three-way switch goes here, and then volume, volume, tone. And what I've got is I want to make sure that when I'm in the down position, this hole right here, the one closest, or excuse me, this hole right here will be bridge volume, neck volume, and tone. Sometimes people flip them and do this as neck volume, this as bridge volume, because it's in line with that. I mainly use my bridge position, so that's the volume that I want to have as my bridge volume. See if I can bring this, see if this will show you here. On the three-way switch, come on, focus. You've got little toggles here, so when I'm down, this one is pressing up, so breaking contact. And when I'm up, this one is breaking ground and letting this one contact. In the middle, they both contact. So what I want to do is when I install this, I want to make sure that I've got the switch in the down position and that my bridge, and that's my bridge position. Switch is installed. So again, I want to make sure which my volumes is going to be bridge volume. You'll notice this has a little tab on it. That's an alignment tab. With this plastic pick guard, you can't use those because it doesn't go all the way in. That's mainly for wood, to let it sit down in wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break those tabs off. Go ahead and break them off, all of them, while I'm here. Can again locate my bridge volume. And then the tone is the one with the capacitor installed on it. So that's going to go to there. And then I just want to orient these to give me the max clearance in there. And then here's the leads that are going to go to ground, and here for the input jack. So we're going to start soldering now. A couple things you want to do. First off, you want to make sure you have a good soldering iron. I've got this one, it's adjustable. I adjust it. I usually solder at about 750 degrees. I've got a chisel tip on it. That way it's going to allow me to disperse heat quicker. When I solder, now that I've got my switch and everything in, and everything in the pick guard, this is my bridge volume. So the hot wire from the bridge is going to go to that lug right there, and then the ground will go to the pot. The hot wire for the neck pickup is going to go to that ground right, or to that lug right there on the pot, and then the ground wire is going to go to the pot. And then these wires here are going to come off and go to my ground on my input jack and my hot on my input jack. And I've also got my ground coming from my bridge that I'll be grounding to one of the pots as well. So my bridge pick, or my neck pickup, was the yellow, and the bridge pickup is the red one. One thing you want to watch out for when you're soldering is solder can pop sometimes. So you want to make sure you've got the guitar covered if you're going to be soldering in or around the guitar. That way any solder that pops off won't pop onto the finish and mar the finish of the guitar. It's like what I'm doing right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tin my wires first, and I'm going to tin the pots first as well. Tinning just helps with the soldering process. All right, so there we have my neck and bridge pickup soldered. And then we've got everything going to this common ground here on the switch. So that's going to be good as well. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of set this in here. First, I'm going to ground it. I'm going to get my ground wire installed. And I'm just going to install it on this pot right here. I'm going to carefully feed these wires through the cavity to get to my switch as I put my pick guard down into position. So that's my pick guard in position. I've got my leads here, and then we're going to be going soldering to here. The tip is hot, so it's going to be this lead right here for the tip, and then the shaft is the ground, so that's where the ground's going to go. And there's my ground. So we're all soldered up. We're gonna give it a quick test real quick, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do for that. Because I've got the pickups hooked up already and the hot wire done, I'm gonna go ahead and plug my lead in here, and I can test to see if the pickups are working properly. So I'm just gonna take my multimeter, make sure the volume's up on both pickups. And right now I'm in the bridge pickup. I'm reading 14.8, which is about what the bridge pickup was reading when I initially tested it, I believe. Now I'm in the neck pickup, and I'm reading 9.33 for the neck. So that's telling me that my pickups, that I've got everything wired up correctly, because I'm getting continuity through there. So I know that I can safely go ahead and install everything now. And I will be going back and doing a full test before I string this up. I'll plug it into an amp to make sure everything's working the way it should. But I'm gonna go ahead and get my switches in, or everything installed now. This is where having everything pre-drilled is really nice, because now I'm not having to worry about drilling around my finish. Everything's going in, tapping in nicely, so I don't have to worry as much about exerting too much force on the screwdriver to keep it in the screw and take a chance of it slipping. Here it is, all put together. Overall, it came out very nice. A couple, things that we worked through on it, but that's okay. I think it's gonna be a nice playing guitar. Right now, all I've done is I've just got strings on it. I'm gonna tune it, let it set at tension for about a week. That way everything can stabilize and neutralize. And then I'll go through and I'll do a setup. And that's when I'll do playability tests and everything like that. I did check the pickups are working in the correct position, so that's good. So everything's good there as far as electronics go. Now it's just a matter of letting this thing sit and acclimatize in the house for a little while rather than out here in my 110-degree garage. So that's been a super fun build to do. I've really enjoyed it. Please, if you want to order one, there's a link in my description below that'll take you to the website where you can order, and it'll apply a discount when you order the kit through them. It also puts back a little bit of money to me to help finance the channel and continue to bring you content like what I've been doing. This video was sponsored by Pango Music, so thank you very much for sending me just a fantastic kit and allowing me to work with you. But as you also know, I do a lot of things where I buy the component myself and go through and do the build. So every little bit helps to allow me to grow the channel. So I want to say thank you very much. So that's going to wrap this video up. It's been a fun build all the way through. No problems at all with assembly on the kit. Everything was drilled where it was supposed to be drilled, angled where it was supposed to be angled. So the kit went together really well without any problems whatsoever. And just on initial inspection, it looks like it's going to be a very nice playing guitar. We've got the electronics in. That was straightforward. The wiring harness was really nice on this one. All the solder joints were good, so none of the wires broke going through assembly. We know we've got everything hooked up correctly. So what I'm going to do now is this thing's going to sit for about a week inside the house, let everything normalize on it. Then I'll go through and do a full setup on it and do a playability check. If you like what I've been doing and you want to follow along with the channel and help the channel out, please click like, click subscribe, follow along with what I'm doing. I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten on the channel over the last 2 years as we've continued down this process of building guitars, building pedals, putting together pedal boards. So thank you very much for stopping by the channel, and until next time, take care.